Go ahead. We're live, Steve.
Okay, hey, our guest tonight, Anthony Lawrence. Of course, those of you out in East County know Anthony from his great career at Grossmont High School, then going on to USD. Great career there, setting many records. But now, Anthony, this past year, you played football in Japan. Tell us a little bit about how did this come about that you played football in Japan to begin with?
Yeah, so after my senior year at USD, I knew I wanted to keep playing somewhere. Had my pro day at USD, and was feeling optimistic about getting a chance out here, and things just it wasn't looking like I was going to get a chance. And a coach out there just reached out to me and said we have opportunity, professional football in Japan. There's been Americans out here before, kind of just giving me the lowdown about it, and then I talked to my family and really, really didn't want to miss an opportunity to keep playing football, and just took it and rolled with it and had a great time out there.
I've got to assume that it was quite a bit of a cultural shock when you first went there. What was that like?
It was definitely a culture shock, and it was a tough adjustment period, but it was a lot of fun. Just embracing it. I was in Osaka, which is the second biggest city after Tokyo, and I would go a few weeks without seeing, any Americans or any non-Japanese people. So out there, it's basically 99.9% Japanese people, and so just not seeing anyone who who was American or anyone who spoke English was definitely the toughest part. Just even at the grocery store or restaurant or anywhere, just not having anyone who spoke English was a tough transition.
I'll bet. What was it like playing football in Japan? I mean, are there the rules the same, or what's the competition like in that whole situation?
So the rules are the exact same as NCAA. So it was nice. So the field size and ball and all the rules are the same as NCAA. So I was used to those formalities and stuff. And then as far as competition, it's really similar to USD. It's I'd compare it to high level FCS, low level FBS football out there. The top guys, the top Japanese players are really, really talented, and the culture is found on discipline and honor, and so the guys were great teammates and worked really hard, and we're all really determined, and it was a ton of fun, ton of really good guys to be around.
Now, you talk about your Japanese teammates and all. I'm sure it was majority of that. Are there a lot of American players there?
So each team is allowed 4 Americans. 2 on offense, 2 on defense. So, and then you have a couple, loopholes where an American went to college in Japan, or maybe someone was born in Japan and then moved to America as a kid. So, we had about 8 Americans on our team, and that was the most in the league. So like a good majority were Japanese players.
And as I understand, your team did quite well this year too. Talk a little bit about how you guys did.
Yeah, the team was it's a perennial powerhouse yearly. It's a very good winning tradition that I came into, and the last 3 years we had been to the semifinals and lost, and then this last year, the year I was there, we went to the championship, and we ended up losing in the championship, but had a really good year and had a ton of fun doing it.
Well, there you are now. It looks like the guy you're throwing the ball to. Talk a little bit about him. It looks like he's your favorite receiver. There you are now. The guy that you threw the ball to, who was that? Talk a little bit about what he meant to your career over there so far.
Yeah, that's Tonka. He's the veteran receiver out there. He's an extremely talented receiver. He's very similar. He's very smooth, very similar to how an American would play the position. He's got a lot of talent, and he's just a very good man. And he's older. He's a little bit older. He's 28, and he just helped me out a ton out there, and helped me transition pretty smoothly, and he taught me Japanese and showed me some good Japanese restaurants.
I bet that was important.
Yeah, definitely. That was the most important part.
Yeah, Steve, those highlights were from the Japan Expo. It's actually the 33rd version of the Expo. We've been playing American football in Japan for a long time, and really it's regarded as one of the best American football leagues in the world, and the team that Anthony plays for, the Panasonic Impulse, they're in the top 8 teams that use the relegation system over there. So Anthony was playing in the best league and frankly was one of the best players in the league. Anthony, you guys got on quite a run there. You got it to a 4-2 record, then made a little push and got into the playoffs and pulled off that big upset, I think, right, over in the semifinals against the Seagulls, I think it was, 24-4. SD guys that some of the regular season games and you guys play every other week in those regular season games, but some of those games would have just a couple of thousand players. But when you finally got to the Tokyo Dome, with all due respect, Anthony, all the big games you played at USD, even facing North Dakota State in that playoff game, and CIF games or whatever, that had to be the biggest moment of your career, playing in front of those 20,000 plus fans at the Tokyo Dome. It was like one of those baseball games. They're rocking the noisemakers, an atmosphere.
Yeah, it was it was awesome, and like you said, it was the biggest moment I've been in my sports career. I played at SDSU with almost 50,000 fans, but it's just different when you're in an open air stadium and it's not it's not filled, it's not sold out, and just being in the Tokyo Dome was such a good atmosphere. Like you said, they're all so excited. All the fans, just love to be out there. Everyone's happy. Everyone's watching. Everyone's cheering. So it was definitely one of that and North Dakota State were definitely the two biggest games I've played in.
Now, Anthony, going back in your career, of course, so many people from East County know you from Grossmont High School. I saw them a couple times this year, saw them beat Modern Day and saw them beat Granite Hills by 1 point. Two great games. That offense Coach Carlo has, were just fast paced and all. How much did that prepare you for getting you to where you are now?
That, Coach Carlo and those guys over there do such a good job. And I love how they're, they adapt and they improvise and they're innovative. And I think that's one of the biggest things I took from it is, in that offense, things happen so fast. You have to be able to adjust and you have to be able to, make decisions quickly. And that stuff, helps you in life and in football. And so just being able to understand the game and being able to learn more about the game of football that they taught me and having that offensive experience, really paved the way for me to play at USD and wherever I go next.
Now, I knew Coach Carlo through his dad, his dad, the general manager at KPBS, but I'd see Coach Carlo a lot, like at Charger games back when they were in San Diego. And after your senior year, he said he was very surprised that you didn't get a major college gig. Were you surprised that didn't work out? And I guess in the end, you had to be happy the way it did work out at USD.
Definitely, yeah. I was, I was pretty upset. Obviously, just bummed that, I felt like I deserved it, and every step of the way, I felt like I've deserved it and showed on the field that I could play with anyone. But a lot of coaches were coming through my sophomore and junior year, and then it just kind of fell off, and I was kind of surprised and upset and whatever other emotion. But like you said, I was really happy how it worked out. I loved USD. I loved the people I met. I loved the coaches there. I loved the atmosphere. I loved the education and just that experience I wouldn't trade for the world. So, we may have only been playing in front of, 2,500 instead of 80,000, like at some of those Big Ten schools. But, I love those guys and those are relationships I'll have for the rest of my life.
Well, when people think about FBS schools, of course, they talk about North Dakota State. They've won, 8 championships in 9 years. I believe they've lost 8 games and they've won 8 championships in 9 years. And that's quite a run. But, you guys at USD, for being a, non-scholarship school and all, what a run they've had there too, winning the Pioneer League every year. I think for a school without scholarships, what you're doing is almost comparable to what they're doing at North Dakota State. Do you feel that way?
Oh, 100%. The FCS level has 63 scholarships. So, that's a full team almost. And for us to have 0 and go out and beat some of those teams and go out and compete with them, I think it just speaks volumes to the culture and the tradition at USD. And they recruit winners and they recruit people who, want to work and the coaches do a great job. The strength coach up there does a great job. I feel like we're starting to get the respect we deserve, but it's been a long time coming, and I'm just happy that people are starting to recognize that USD has some really good football over there.
Now, going back to being in Japan and all, okay, you've played there 1 year now and all. Are you hoping to go back there next year? Are you hoping maybe to play in a different league closer to home, or what's your hopes from here?
Yeah, so I'm still training, still working out pretty hard, and talking with my agent, just trying to figure out if I could play, football in North America. As far as NFL, CFL, XFL, I'd love to play, over here just because I want to play at the highest level possible, and I believe if I get a chance, I'll be able to do that. But if nothing works out, I'm definitely planning on going back to Japan. I loved it out there. I loved the culture. I built some bonds I never thought I could have when I started this journey, and so if I end up back there, I'll definitely will not be upset in the slightest. I'll be very excited to try, hopefully go back and win the championship next year.
Yeah, Anthony, the XFL is right. We're right there as far as getting ready for that season. I imagine any conversation yet?
Yeah, a little bit. I did the XFL showcase last summer, back when they were kind of just kickstarting the whole thing, and just basically had my name out there, floated it out there to teams, and right now, since the season in Japan didn't end, they overlapped, so I couldn't really start. But now it's just, if someone goes down, I'll be ready to be signed, and I'll be ready to go wherever I need to go, and I'm in shape, and I'm ready to roll.
Steve,
So,
I want to share with you, Steve, real quick, and we might lose the video on this. I'm going to put this over if they have another question. I want to show you, Steve, Anthony's touchdown pass, Tonka in the championship game back in December. You're going to love this. I think it's going to cover us up and maybe even cut off our sound, but it's too good. Let me share this with you, Steve.
sure.
I think we can hear it, right? Look at this. Anthony, can you tell us about this?
Yeah, the game plan against them was they had a good D line, so we wanted to neutralize it with some play action and some quick game. And this was a play action that kind of just broke down. And Tonka has a great feel for the game, and he's great at improvising, great at adapting, and he just broke it off and had some separation. So I trusted him, and he made a play. It was awesome.
How about our guy right there, huh? Steve, you look pretty good, huh?
That was good. Hey, Anthony, got a question for you. I saw the scoreboard there at all. Underneath it had some writing in Japanese. Could you read that at all? Have you gotten to that point yet or no?
There's 3 alphabets out there, so it's pretty tough. I got 2 of them down, but the third one has over 2,000 characters. So I don't know if I'm gonna get all the way through those.
Anthony, one thing I noticed in that championship game, and the other team, I don't think had any penalties, and I know early in the season that the team had some problems with penalties, but it looked like the league, maybe in typical Japanese fashion of drills and the way they perform, there's not a lot of penalties. You guys had problems with just regular procedure and false start penalties in the championship game. Does that come down to, you were running a read option, right? So does it come down to instruction there or any language barrier that you and Steve talked about? Why were you getting so many penalties in the championship game? They were critical, actually.
Yeah, I don't think there was. I mean, there's definitely a language barrier, but I don't think it was that. Like I said, we've been knocked off in the semifinals the last 3 years, and that championship atmosphere is a lot different than the rest of our games. It's not like North Dakota State where every single time you step in that dome, it's going to be loud. So I think a lot of the guys hadn't played in an environment like that where it's loud and you get the jitters and just things happen and that's football. But like you said, they're very disciplined and extremely focused and hardworking. So I know those guys are working on it right now as best they can.
Now, Anthony, of course, you speak English. Most of the guys on the team are Japanese and all. Okay, how do you call a play in the huddle? And what about when you're at the line of scrimmage? You say hut 1, hut 2. Do they understand, or how does
doing a lot of this?
How does that work today? I don't know. How does that work today?
So we had everyone wore wristbands, which was nice. So we just got the number from the sideline, and then so I wouldn't have to say anything. But yeah, the snap count was ready, set, hut. Same thing, and then first sound was ready, and so it was pretty similar with that stuff. The hard part was when we wanted to make adjustments on the sideline. It was a lot of give and take between me trying to speak Japanese and them trying to speak English, and kind of finding a hybrid language that we could understand for the adjustments of break 2 steps earlier, or take it a little skinnier or something like that.
Now, did any of your coaches speak English or no?
We had one like director of operations who spoke fluent English, and then we had 2 players who spoke fluent English, but it was just those 3 who were really fluent in both.
And Anthony's not the first Torero to make their way. Is it to play in Japan, or have there been other Toreros on the Impulse team?
No. So I'm the 4th in Japan, 4th Torero in Japan, but first for the Impulse. One is still on Fujitsu, the team we lost to. Jonah Hodges is with Asahi Beer, and Mason Mills was on Asahi Beer a few years ago.
Yeah, Mason Mills, obviously another great USD quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony holds, we saw the note there, Anthony holds all the records at USD, and his name is still found all over the top of the passing charts in the CIF record book. A couple of guys lately have had some big seasons in this era. I think Anthony was maybe the last of the touch before the touch football came along, Steve.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask Anthony, while you're over there and all, did you get a chance to follow Grossmont and/or USD while you're over there? And what did you think of those teams this past year?
Yeah, I followed both of them pretty well. With USD, I was actually able to watch the games with the streams. With Grossmont, I just had to actually follow Chase Carlo on Twitter. Is mainly how I did it. Coach Carlo's son. He always kept score updates and stuff. So it was nice that they played. So when they played Friday night, it was Saturday afternoon in Japan, and so I could just follow the games there. And it was a lot of fun. Watching Jamie and watching Grossmont have so much success, and that was a tough one to Madison in the playoffs. But I definitely watched them, and they're still strong and still a powerhouse team. And USD had an incredible year. The offense was awesome, and Reed was really good. But the playoffs are always tough against those scholarship teams.
A couple of those Hillers this year, Steve, I don't know what's happened yet. I don't know if we've seen any official. Maybe they did. I'm not sure, but a couple of Hillers are going to possibly make their way to USD this year. I don't know. Anthony, did you talk to any of those guys?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to keep the Foothiller to Torero pipeline going. I been talking to the coaches at USD about getting some Grossmont guys there, and trying to convince these Grossmont guys that it's a great place to be. And yeah, I think 3 of them got offered, so hopefully at least a couple of them make it out there.
Now, Anthony, we were talking earlier about the type offense that Grossmont runs. Of course, very fast-paced. How does that compare to what offense you guys ran at USD?
USD was West Coast, so we were pretty balanced, but under center stuff, we had some 7-step play action, deep play action. We had some, naked bootlegs, different things like that. So that I just never ran at Grossmont. So it was really tough to adjust to, under center snap. In Grossmont, we were 100% shotgun. So, taking up don't really change. It just as far as how you want to get to them. So at USD, it shifts in motions, and at Grossmont it was up tempo. And both of them have their pros and cons, and both of them put defenses in a bind. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we see on the screen right now, of course, that you were the offensive MVP for the league in 2017 and a finalist for the Walter Payton Award. That had to be great honors for you. Yeah,
definitely. Everything at USD was more than I could have ever wished for, more than I could have ever imagined. And the Walter Payton Award is really special because my dad grew up a Bears fan, and so I grew up a Bears fan, and his favorite player of all time is Walter Payton. So just being in a conversation for an award named after a guy that great of a player and just of a man. The Walter Payton Award in the NFL is for the best man. So it's awesome to be in consideration for that.
Hey, Steve, before we head into the home stretch, I just want to bug Anthony a little bit about that game. I went back and watched the championship game of the X League, and the Impulse was playing one of the teams that's also one of the widely respected teams, I think, in that league, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony. And it came down right to the wire, Steve. I want to show you, Anthony, in the 2-minute drill. They needed to get a score. Anthony, maybe you could catch up with this sequence and tell us what happened 3 minutes to go in the fourth.
Yeah, same thing. We went down 8 points, and the defensive line was good. So at that point, we were just kind of just playing backyard football, just running around trying to make things happen. And again, Tonka finds a way to get open and secure a catch, and we end up scoring. I think 2 plays later, and we're down 2.
Mitchell? He looked big for your team. He had some big plays in that game.
Yeah. He was one of the guys born in Japan but grew up in Virginia, so he didn't count technically as an American for the team. And he's a stud. He's really talented running back.
Now, Steve, I'm going to play this last one for you because then I got to put Anthony on the spot. What happened in the championship game? This video, it might be some tough audio, but I got it in Japanese. It was a 2-point conversion, so that put them down 2, and they were, I believe, going for the tie here. Anthony, I don't know if maybe after this video, because I haven't. I tried to get the audio of it, and just tell me afterwards what. Well, that was it, Anthony. The last play, you guys were in desperation mode, but I want to go back to the 2-point conversion, brother. Hey, I know there had to be some frustration. Hey, you're a professional football player now. You've led that team. I know your other quarterback did get playing time a little bit throughout the season. Anthony, you can tell us now. You're back here. You might have to go back, so don't stick your foot in your mouth. But why weren't you in the game with the 2-point conversion, man?
Definitely, yeah. Like you said, I obviously want to be on the field at all times, especially when the game's on the line. I'm just a competitor, and I want to be out there. And if we lose, I want it to be on my hands. And if I put the team in a position to win, I want to be the reason we do that. But he's a very good athlete, and so we had run a lot of wildcat plays where he runs the ball, and the look had been there, and our coaches do a great job of scouting, and that D lineman just made a really good play, getting in the passing lane. So I can't say I'm not upset about not being in, but I think it was a good call, and just it was really unfortunate the way it fell through.
So Steve, the way it went, last time, they caught up with Anthony. We was on KUSI with Paul Rudy kind of before this adventure started, and maybe we didn't hear a lot about what went on over there. But fact is, Anthony led this team to the championship game and ended up, losing on a 2-point conversion. That's how close he got to winning a professional championship in his first season as a paid athlete. Steve?
Yeah.
Definitely. Hey, speaking as being a paid athlete, now we mentioned earlier the possibility of the XFL. Anthony, the next thing after that, possibly the Canadian Football League, if you don't go back to Japan. Have you been in touch with them and anything possible there, or what's up next?
Yeah, so last year after the pro day, I had a few contacts with the Canadian League, and then I did a few workouts for a couple teams up there. That's definitely a place I'd look to play. Obviously, incredibly high talent and a very well-respected league. I would love to get an opportunity to play up there. Definitely have my agent, reach out to them and see if I can get any workouts, just see if I can get on a field, because there's no doubt in my mind if I get on a field with other guys, I'm gonna be able to come through and be able to produce.
Well, we look forward definitely to wherever your career takes you from here. I mean, I just think it's great what you've done at Grossmont High and since Grossmont High. It's just had to have been just a wonderful ride for you so far.
Yeah, it's been everything I could ask for. When I was an 8th grader playing Pop Warner football. I never would have imagined this is where my career would have gone, and never would have imagined how things would have turned out.
Look at that shot right there, Steve. There's his top receiver down there, number 15, Mr. Tonka, and looks like he's just with some fans there at one of the games, Anthony. That just seems awesome. It really looked like, I know there's some money involved, but I'm sure, you're going to go on, you're going to play football as long as you can. You're going to have a professional career in whatever you decide to do. But right now, to me, it just seems like you want to play football, and these memories, this is something you can't pass up, man.
Definitely. Yeah, like you said, the money will come or go whenever it does. But the experiences that I get to do out here, and all the people I get to meet, and the times I get to have, I will never forget these moments, and I'll never forget the guys out there. And it's just, I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and I'm so grateful that my family and people convinced me to go take a chance and go out and do it.
Now, you mentioned your family. I believe your dad and some others went over to watch you in the championship game, right?
Yeah, so they were able to come out, and my dad and my mom and my brother and my sister were able to come out, and it was a ton of fun, just showing them how I live, because I was out there for 6 months, so it felt like home, and just being able to show people I love like my new home. It was a ton of fun, feeding them sushi and ramen, and all the good stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, well,
I just want to ask how that worked, Anthony. You were living in Osaka, where you said you hadn't even seen a house. Everyone lived so densely in towers and populated areas. How did that week work out of the championship game? Commuting with your team from Osaka and then hooking up with your family, I guess, in Tokyo.
Yeah, so we just took the bullet train. It's really convenient up there. It's super easy and super comfortable ride. So we just did that, and then hung out up there and just try to see the city.
Great.
Steve, Anthony might end up playing football year round. Maybe he can get a gig in the XFL, the CFL. I think they probably want him back in Japan to try to some unfinished business. I think
No doubt.
for the Panasonic Impulse. All the teams over there are sponsored by corporate by companies. They don't even really represent necessarily their cities. I think that's why the structure of it seems to work so well. And like you said, I mean, they've averaged over 20,000 fans for those championship games over there for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, Anthony, we really want to thank you for being with us tonight. We're going to definitely want to keep up with your career, be it, Japan, the XFL, CFL, NFL, maybe a combination of all. We thank you so much for coming on with us tonight. Hopefully you'll let us catch up with you again.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me anytime. I love to talk football and love to talk to you guys.
Well, thanks so much. And again, best of luck with everything in your career from here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. And for Anthony Lawrence, for Steve Dolan, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.